This is the day where we have 80 jerseys that blend into one blue river. One blue river that flows constantly. The end of the river, the empty end of the sea as one. That's how we roll.
Sing it for Serra.
Pray for us!
Hello and welcome to the Serra High School Football Podcast. How you doing,
up,
Coach?
Amy? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
You're looking sharp and very colorful, patriotic, and
yeah, it's almost
a new
that
haircut.
time. It's almost election time.
I
right?
know,
We
right?
Got to
Couple
vote.
weeks.
Got to vote.
You're looking good with your haircut.
Yes, this is my favorite haircut I've ever got. This is from Phil Alapati.
Nice.
Obviously,
A familiar name.
Marley and Jonah's daddy up in South City.
Nice.
At Phil Good Haircuts. It was awesome. Just had the greatest time. Went in there,
Perfect.
met all the guys. Jabari Mann's father was in there.
Oh, no way.
He cuts hair there as well. So,
Wow, it's star-studded. I love it.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was just so fun. I laughed the entire time in the barbershop culture, the barbershop environment. It was just so funny. The guys were yelling at each other the whole time, and I just sat there and got a great haircut from Phil. So it was, my hair grows like a weed, so it's nice to get a good haircut from someone in the Serra family too. So it was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to put him on our Serra Padre
Oh, yeah.
business site.
Yep.
We haven't done that
Phil
yet.
Good.
I like it.
Get it?
It's got a ring
Phil,
to it.
Yep. Phil Good haircuts. So that's a place to go. Anyway.
Wonderful. Well,
yeah.
great. Well, it's been an exciting week. Before I go any further, though, I'm just, this is a week of traditions, right? The Bellarmine Serra rivalry dates back for decades. And today was a special day at Serra because we had our prune rally, which is our rally right before the game. And one of the traditions, time-honored traditions, is that the seniors, which there are a whopping like 48 of them.
There's a lot of seniors.
Give their jersey to a faculty member that has had a positive impact on their life.
So
and
cool.
I was lucky
You got
enough
one.
to get one from
You got one. Who's
the
that
great
from?
Andrew Fideli.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
felt just so honored, and it's just so cool. And he's such an amazing kid, both on and off the field. So it's a really cool thing. It was cool
Yeah.
to see, and I think we all had a really good time there today. So
Good. I think it's a good message. That this is a we thing. It's not the school and
Yeah.
the athletic department or the school and the football team. Like we're all one. We're all trying to do the same thing here at Serra, and that's
Right.
to create great men that we can roll out into society and become great, contributors, great husbands, and that's what Serra's all about. And this day always reminds everyone of that we're all in this together. I show up at 3 or whatever time to coach the guys out here, but the teachers and the staff, the faculty, they got these guys from 8 to 3. So it's
right.
so it's really good to see everyone come together, and particularly with the Bellarmine. The history of the Bellarmine game just goes back decades and decades and decades, and I have my own history with it as well. So
Great. Well, I can't wait to get to that. I want to first start with the Archbishop Midi game where we got a nice W.
Yeah.
Why don't you bring us through that game a little bit in detail, if you would?
Yeah. We didn't start great. I mean, Midi went up 7-0. They had a great drive to start the game off, made a bunch of great plays, and but then we kind of settled in and we really established a run game on Saturday. Really established a run game. We ran some of the old school double wing, and Coach Bell broke that out a little bit earlier than we usually do in the game. And Latu had a huge run to make it 7-7, and it was kind of on from there just in terms of running the football. Hennigan had some nice passes,
Great.
To Hinsdale, and overall it felt like a really good game. But I still feel like something's missing, and I have addressed that with the team. There's just some things that my expectations in wins and or losses. There's a certain standard here about how we behave and about how we play and about our humility, and there's just some things that I need to iron out to continue to teach the life lessons that are most important to this program. And so while we did have more points than Midi on Saturday, I still, there's something more that I'm trying to get out of this group of players, and that's me. That's me. Being a better coach and being more attentive to detail, and all of our coaches just kind of waking up to the things that this group needs. And every group is different, and that's why it's fun and challenging, and the league always keeps you on your toes. And so I think that's my major takeaway from the game. We did go 11 of 12 in our goals.
Great.
I know a lot of people like to hear how we did there. The only goal we did not get was 17 points or less on defense. Midi scored 21. So we're playing better football. Our grade was 82% as a team collectively.
That's great.
We were offense was 82, defense was 82. So we graded right around that 80% mark, which we've been grading at all year. And it's kind of like, what's the difference, right? Like what's going on? Like, what's the difference? The difference right now is our everyday attention to detail and just our overall focus level on what it means to be a Serra Padre. That's the difference right now.
Okay.
And if we can figure that out, then we're going to be a dangerous team. And I'm still working on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a work in progress, this team. And I believe we're going to get there. But at the end of the day, it's a simple math equation when it comes to coaching. It's coach, absorb, and then execute. And somewhere along that simple mathematical equation, there's something missing.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. I'm searching to figure it out. These guys know, if they listen to the podcast, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So if we're in, let's say, cover 3, but one of our guys is in man coverage,
right?
Well, then we're not really in cover 3. We're in something else. Maybe that's a communication issue. So that's a coaching issue. Like, hey, we're telling you we want you to be in cover 3, but one of you was in man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So something failed there. And on defense, if 10 guys do it right and one guy does it wrong, it's 7 points.
Sure.
Could be 7. Same thing on offense. 10 guys do it right, but our guard or the receiver thought it was another call, which is a simple communication thing. The play goes backwards, or we throw an interception, or it's the quarterback. But sometimes it was just a communication error, and these are the things that we need to get better at if we want to continue to grow and get better into November and December.
Great.
And we're headed on that trajectory. We're headed into the go time. So right now we have mini skirmishes. We have little battles. We have a battle every week. But the entire war, which would be the 2024 season, is still out there. It's still pending.
Right.
And so that gives me great hope. We're sitting here at 3-4. We're under 500 after 7 weeks on the scoreboard. But that's not really my concern. My concern is creating a team, an identity, and a brand that everybody in the stands can be proud of and know exactly what they're about to see. And we're still working on that. That's
great.
where I'm at with the season.
That's great. I mean, because as you were just talking, I'm thinking, you started out with 3 powerhouse teams. I mean, that was probably a scary start, for this team. But do you feel like the overall confidence on the team, like connections, understanding routes? I mean, do you feel like the confidence is rising?
Yeah, I don't really, in a weird way, like I don't really feel like our confidence has ever been an issue. And
I guess as in each other, confidence in each other.
Totally. And I would actually like us to have a little less confidence, if you know what I'm saying. Like,
I do. I'm going back to what you first said.
That's what I'm saying. Like our confidence has never been the issue. Like it's like, oh, we lost that game. Okay. But it's like, I scheduled this amazing schedule to kind of like maybe have some more doubt and have some more, gosh, we really need to work on this. And maybe that's a humbling experience. And that also kind of didn't work in a way. Like
right.
it was, and that's, it's hard to erase pretty much a decade of success. Like these kids, when they were 5 years old, probably only knew, whoa, I'm going to go there and we're going to be great.
Champions. Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, well, let's talk about what it takes to be great, and the sacrifices and the humility and the things that you got to do. So I've just tried to take emotion out of this season. I'm taking emotion out, and let's just focus on 1 + 1 + 1 = 3. Okay, coach. Absorb the coaching, execute the coaching. Okay, coach.
You make it sound so simple.
Well, it is. Yes,
it is simple.
Okay.
I get it.
But the other team has something to say about it too. Like maybe number 2 from St. Francis has something to say about that as well. And everything went well, and he broke a couple tackles. So is it really broken? So anyway, you got to measure all that stuff out, Amy. But for me, it's continuation of minimizing all the noise, the fog of war, the friction, the things that are all in these kids' heads, the school, the girlfriends, the social media, and just really get them to focus on the minute details that's going to take for us to be successful going into December. So that's and it's a challenge because I work with kids that I love the heck out of. By the way, I love this team. Yeah. I'm having so much fun. I have so much fun every day with my coaches and the team. This is not an admission of like, I don't like being, I love being here. Yeah. I enjoy it.
Of course you do.
But I just want them to overcome this. I want them to rise up. And if we can, wow, what a cool story that'll be.
Right.
If we can figure this out and all of a sudden it's like, oh, like they're in the Matrix and It's like, oh, I see the ones and zeros. I know exactly what to do.
Right.
If we can do that, we're going to be a dangerous team moving forward.
That's great. And I mean, as a coach, I mean, I'm sure that, I mean, that's your challenge too, right? And that's the beauty in what you do and what you do so well. So
sure.
So I was sitting in the JV stands, of course, watching that game. And a lot of people said that they listened to the podcast and loved you just giving a little snippet of that game. Would you be willing to share that again?
Yeah, of course.
They were like, it was so nice to get some JV love. I'm
there
like,
was this Carson Strain kid.
Well, let me excuse you real quick before that, because I almost said, but they don't win banners. But then I decided I would ask.
Like they care. Like that's their babies out there, right?
Totally. But yes, now I'll let you go on.
We do know that JVs don't hang banners. Although Coach Mignol may argue that there might be a couple banners in a couple local establishments. I'm just kidding.
I was just from last week when he said that.
Yes.
You're like, it's all about, you know.
I will say this though. There are banners. There are JV banners that our JV team has produced. That just don't reside in our gym.
Yes.
They're in other local establishments.
Right. They're excellent.
JV's
excellent. It was just funny because a lot of people were like, I loved hearing about that.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Well, we had a really good game, actually, 21-14 against Midi. Your son actually made some game-saving tackles, 21-14. Midi guys streaking into the end zone for the tying score, and he tripped him up, and then the defense held. So I thought that was really good to see. The team played well. They're playing hard. They're playing together. I mean, we did have, I thought the defense really hunkered down when it mattered the most in those moments. The offense scored 21 points in the first half.
That's great.
And then
Charlie was awesome.
Charlie had a couple big plays, and then in the second half, no points. So it became a defensive game in the second half. Midi did not have a lot of players. I think like in the 20s.
I thought so too. I think I counted 24. Mm-hmm.
So, they played well. They, I've known Gaspar, the head coach over there, forever. I mean, we played craps together up in South Lake Tahoe, like in 2002. So there's a lot of just history, with those guys, and I'm glad all three levels won. Yeah, all three levels beat Midi. So that was
Carson did say he's like, that team was tough though. I mean, those 24 guys were tough.
They were tough, and they all played two ways, and it was hot again, and so it was it was a really good JV game, and I think we had a little bit too many penalties. To be honest with you, we had some holding penalties that really we were in an opportunity to put the game away, and then we had some penalties, some stupid mistakes that need to be corrected. But overall, I was proud of that JV group.
Yeah, good. Well, I just had to give him some love.
Yeah,
I heard so many people. Right. Yeah. Okay, so moving on to this week, we have an exciting history. Tell us a little bit about our rivalry that we've had for so long.
So when I got here, there were like two crazy, I would say, villains. When I got to Serra, and I came from the East Bay, came from De La Salle. I didn't really know anything about the WCAL. Over there when you cross a body of water, it's like nothing ever exists on the other side. Right. I've learned that over here too. So
yeah, exactly.
Like the East Bay doesn't really exist if you're a peninsula person, and the peninsula doesn't exist if you're an East Bay person. So let's just be straight.
Unless you have to go there and then you complain about the traffic.
Yeah, you're like, there's so much traffic, and there's no restaurants, and we got the Giants and whatever. We being the East Bay used to have a lot of teams in Oakland. Now we have 0. Right. So that's a thing. And I will say one of the funniest jokes when it comes to the East Bay and the peninsula. And there's some snobbery on both sides, let's call it. But Mike Langridge, God bless Mike Langridge, right? Just one of the best Padres. And
class of 91,
Class of 91, coached for me forever. Kids are here coaching their kids, like Padres through and through. He said, I was just we were talking about this issue. And he said, I noticed, you don't pay on the bridge going east. You only pay when you go west.
That's good.
I was like, that's
good
a good
concept.
One. That was a good one.
That is good.
Yeah, I'm paying $6 to get to the peninsula or whatever it is, $10.
Free.
You want to go to the East Bay? It's free.
Come on over.
We welcome everybody over there. So I thought that was good. But anyway, when I got here, it was St. Francis and Bellarmine, St. Francis and Bellarmine, St. Francis and Bellarmine, literally for 40 years to win the league title. And that was it. I mean, really, you look back in history from, I think it was 1972 when we won it in 72. Like in that 30-year period, there might have been 1 or 2 teams that weren't St. Francis or Bellarmine that won the WCAL.
It's quite a
now,
dynasty.
Coach Peralta, our freshman coach, won the league the year before I got here in 2000. Archbishop Reardon won it. And I think that upset the whole apple cart thing. Then Valley Christian came in and they started winning some league titles. And then we started to win some league titles. And now it's been a nice mix of league titles, I would say, between a lot of those schools. But anyway, when I got here, Bellarmine and my best friend, Rick Bianchina, who I grew up with, who's a Serra Padre. The press box is named after him here at Serra. He told me all about the Bellarmine rivalry. And Serra could not beat Bellarmine. We just could not beat them, through the 60s and the 70s. And we came up with this prune rally to exorcise the demons of the Bellarmine Bells because they grew up on a prune orchard,
right?
Which is no longer a prune orchard. It's like the University of Bellarmine down there. I think they bought
gorgeous.
it's a beautiful school that they bought all the prune orchards. And they go from the airport to wherever.
Sure.
So the south is
fields,
multiple fields. It's a beautiful place, and Bellarmine's done a great job of fundraising and building wonderful facilities. And they're the last all boys school over here with us. It's Reardon's gone, and SI used to be all boys, and Teddy Cordery, our filmer, was an SI guy, and he was there when it was all boys. And so those days are few and far between. At least now, I don't see us or Bellarmine or now De La Salle across the bay having issues with that, but you never know. And so when I got here, it was the Bellarmine prune rally, exercising the demons, and we won the first 6 years I was here.
Wow.
Yeah, we won
That's
the first,
awesome.
and I'm like, what is this? This is easy. Like, what is this Bellarmine thing? It's not a big deal. And then like 2006. Through 2010, 11, even 12, like we lost 6 or 7 times in a row.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my God, this Bellarmine thing's real. We can't beat Bellarmine. And I mentioned Uswa Manam on the last podcast, and he was and there's just been some amazing games between Serra and Bellarmine. Just, oh my gosh, it's just pull your hair out. Including 2012, we lost to him twice on the 1 yard line. Once in the regular season, week 10 for the league championship, and then once on the Thanksgiving game, which was the semifinals, on the 1 yard line. And that was just a watershed moment for me. And then 2013 through now, we've been, it's because of those losses. So I can thank Bellarmine for 2 losses in 2012 that transformed our program. I could thank Coach Giander for that, who's long retired. But it's just been a great rivalry. It's great. They're obviously the Jesuit school with SI. But we're going down there Friday night, ready to rock and roll.
Right, and that's at San Jose City College.
Yep.
And so what do you know about the team this year?
Their team?
Yes.
They're 0-7 right now.
Okay.
So if we're going to look at that scoreboard, that's a dangerous thing for us.
Sure.
They had an injury, a couple injuries early in the year. They lost their best player. I think against Menlo Atherton early in the year, and he's a great runner. And so I know that's kind of, haunted them and hung over them all year. Coach Diaz-Infante is a friend of mine, and Coach Thurman Moore. Those guys are doing a great job. But I've told our team, like, the great teams, whether you're playing an 0-7 team or a 7-0 team, are playing themselves. And clearly this is the type of year where we're playing ourselves no matter what, like avoiding the distractions and all these things. Right. And developing a maturity that it doesn't really matter. It matters how we execute and taking the emotion out. So that's what we're focused on this week. They lost to Reardon last week. They're, I think, 34-7. They've struggled. They've struggled. But if I know anything about the Bellarmine Serra rivalry, it's like just throw all that stuff out and be the best we can be on Friday night, or we're going to be in another dogfight in the WCIL.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to it. I know freshmen play here on Thursday, and then JVs are at 4:00 on Friday, and then followed by the great varsity Padres. We can't wait to watch.
That we need to hold that adjective for a while, but we're working on making that actually real. But thank you. But thank you. You're the
Win
biggest
or lose,
fan.
I still find them.
You got the jersey on. You got to, I get it. That's your job as a podcaster and a Serra person to say that. But we need to
There's work to
earn
do.
that.
You'll
we
get
need
it.
to earn that. Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, go Padres. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Amy.
All right.